Welcome back to another episode of the Williford Brothers. We are your host, Luke and
Lee Williford.
We're excited to be with you today. Today we're going to try to answer a question that maybe you've asked yourself and you didn't know who to ask. So we're going to try to answer that question. And that question is, should I buy a laundromat? A lot of people listening in today, that may be a big question for them. Lee, how would you start about answering that question if someone asked it to you?
Yeah, I think we get asked a lot of times if we're interested in selling laundromats. So there are definitely people out there who are interested in buying laundromats. Having the ability to purchase a laundromat is definitely a big component of that. So if you have the financial ability, then I say yes, definitely pursue the option. And knowing whether or not you have the financial ability to do that is whether you have either capital or access to capital, or if you go through a route of getting a free laundromat, beating down landlord doors, and trying to get into the industry at either zero expense or as little expense as possible. Those are great ways of getting your foot into the door of this industry. If you have a desire to serve people, then you will do excellent in this industry, because we serve a lot of people every day. And if you've got the financial ability to, and if you've got the heart to serve people, then not only will you find your way into this industry, but you'll also succeed, because those are two very, very big important components of being successful in this industry.
Well, I watched a YouTube video and it appears money just rains down on you.
That's right. It is. So as soon as you buy your first laundromat, then you have to get a broom so that you can sweep up all the cash that's just falling from the ceiling.
Just comes down. I think it can get the wrong impression, and what drives people to wanting to own a laundromat sometimes is the wrong reasons, but it's not for everybody. One of the things I tell somebody initially when they come to me with that question, should I buy a laundromat, I ask them about their risk tolerance, both financial and just their risk tolerance in general. Owning a laundromat is not a 9-to-5 job like you may be used to. And
unless you operate your laundromat from 9 to 5, and I wouldn't suggest that.
And then it's not going to be successful. But what I'm saying, if a homeless guy sleeping in your business is going to give you anxiety that eats you up, you don't need to be in the laundromat business. I just this past weekend had a sheriff at my door because we actually had an incident at the laundry where I had to go immediately. So those things happen, and we have many stories about different things. But I think initially you need to be okay with a little risk tolerance, both financially as well as just emotionally and spiritually even.
Yes. Yeah, in fact, that's I think could be a topic for an entire episode, is knowing and understanding your risk tolerance. And knowing your risk tolerance, whether you are just okay to throw some money out there, and if you lose it all, then, well, it's an experience that you went after and you're cool with that. Or if you are going to be so low risk tolerance that everything that happens in your laundromat freaks you out. If that's the case, it's going to be exhausting running a laundromat, because again, you're serving people. That means you have people coming in and out. Some of those people are legitimate customers. Some of those people want to do nothing but destroy your life and your laundromat. And yes, you'll have to be on your guard. But that's a good point, is knowing and understanding your own risk tolerance is very important.
And I was in Vegas last week, so you can always go gamble. But if you're listening to us, you're probably seeking, advice on, and we want to give you that. This is not get quick rich business. It takes.
But I thought the money was falling from the sky.
Yeah. So it takes proper investment on the front end. Consultants like us and others across our industry have become quite valuable to laundry owners who are looking to get into the business or scale the business, because you can't get advice from somebody who's never walked before you. If I want to become an accountant, I'm going to go talk to an accountant. If I want to become a YouTuber, I'm going to research YouTubers.
Yes,
successful YouTubers. So that's why we our heart behind this is helping people. And this business, I will tell you, is not for everyone. I think that's, I tell a lot of people, I just don't think this business is for you.
Yeah.
And I would rather tell them that hard fact initially rather than meet them in a few years or have them call me months down the road. I didn't know I was going to have to be dealing with, people vandalizing my equipment or sleeping in my laundry or whatever the case might be, because I think we've gotten so used to problems that we deal with on a weekly, daily basis in our company that we become immune to it.
Our experience has allowed us to
So our
learn a
risk
lot.
tolerance is pretty great.
Yes.
And
even between the two of us, we have, I think, different risk tolerances. I would be a less risk tolerant person, and I think you have a higher risk tolerance.
Absolutely.
And so,
Not
it
financially,
makes
probably.
it makes for a great combination.
Yeah.
So even if you're going in this business and you're doing it yourself or maybe with your spouse, know and recognize that. Again, your own risk tolerance, and maybe have someone who is able to check you and say, okay, you're going into this 100 miles an hour with $350,000 of cash that you've saved up. Don't do anything stupid. Again, we talked about before that there are small decisions that don't have too much of an impact on the success of your business, but those very important decisions that are few but very important can see you come to your demise pretty quickly. So your risk tolerance and making wise decisions are very important. So have somebody there to recognize their own risk tolerant. Maybe they're less risk tolerant than you, or even more risk tolerant if you're a low risk kind of person, to help you balance that out and optimize your risk.
And I would say don't quit your job unless you have a large sum to invest into this. You're going to need to keep your income from your day job or however you're getting income, because day one, this laundromat's not going to kick cash to you where you can take a salary out. You want to let your business be healthy and grow until you're wanting to actually produce income. If it's your only income and you don't have a capital to live off of, I would say just as long as you can. You do want to have some capital. You probably see, like Lee said, there is our friend Danny D'Angelo, who does consulting and does freelaundromat.com. There is ways to get in the laundromat business for absolutely no capital. However, that takes a lot of work. Takes a ton of work.
Time. Mm-hmm.
Actually, we just got a call before this podcast of an owner who reached out to us and is just wanting to get out of this business. And we get that call sometimes from different owners across the state. But he owns the building and just no longer wants to operate the business, and knows we'll be a long-term tenant, and knows that we are going to invest into the business, and knows we have a business model that's proven. But you watching it may be your first one. Well, how much money do I need, Lee? I hate vague stuff. How much money? $10,000, $20,000, $30,000.
So I think going into it, you need to anticipate whether you will go into a vanilla box in a strip mall, if you're going to buy a brand new laundromat that your distributor put in and is now selling to make a killing. So again, you need to know how you are going to get into this business. There are people who get into it every day for as little as possible. There are people who buy way overpriced laundromats and are left holding the bag. So if you are going to buy a laundromat and you know that there is value to be gained in that laundromat, that's what you want to target. You want to target where there will be value added in your effort. So our acquisition model has always been to find those operators who have neglected in reinvesting in their laundromats. So that's just a niche for us. And so we typically create a relationship with that person, just a contact. Luke, that's one of your strengths, is just getting out there, beating down the doors, making contacts. You probably have 1,000 contacts in your phone that are just laundromat owners with the potential to sell. So I would suggest going and introducing yourself to people who are in the business and who may be looking to get out, whether you know it or not, or whether even they know it or not, because their time in the industry is likely coming to an end, and they're going to look to liquidate. Now, when they try to liquidate, they are going to anchor themselves way over whatever the sale price should be. So be conscious of that. They're going to ask for much more. So try to value the laundromat based on what you think is either the asset price or a multiple of revenue. Now, tracking revenue in laundromats can be really difficult. So there's a whole episode on pricing strategies or buying strategies. But yeah, what you want to do is get into a laundromat that has existing clientele where you can create incredible value so that 2-3 years from now, you're doing 4 or 5 turns per day, and you've been able to take advantage of the water, sewer, gas, all that infrastructure, and then bring in new equipment because you've got a history of running a laundromat. You've got 2 years worth of P&L. You go to your bank, you go to lots of folks, people at like Eastern Funding, maybe even your manufacturer's arm has their own. Dexter they're great to work with, and they will get you squared away.
Absolutely. Well, good.
But don't do everything in the first 6 months. Yeah. If it's your first laundromat, don't go in with some grand plan and say, oh, this is what we're going to do, because you're going to run out of time and you're going to run out of money, and then you're probably going to get run out of your house.
Absolutely. And you've got to be willing to clean the laundromat. You've got to be willing to be a part in the business. I think especially early on, and especially
in that type of acquisition where you're coming in and you're buying something. Yes, you can eat into your profitability if you're paying some, high-priced manager to take care of your store. Yeah. If you have a full-time job and your part-time job is now making sure that this thing is successful for the next couple of years while you save and establish yourself to reinvest in new equipment. Yes.
Yeah. And stay tuned, because all of these will be future episodes. How to evaluate a laundromat. At what point can I hire a manager, I think, is another question we've got from listeners.
Good practical stuff.
But should you buy a laundromat? I think the last few minutes have helped hopefully make that decision for you. Lee, where do I want to buy it? It's so important. Anybody also talk to always say the worst thing in the world is to throw a party and nobody come. Okay? If you ever been at a party or not at a party and somebody calls you from the party, that's because the party was not a hit. They're wanting you to come, so make it cool.
That's happened to me more times than it's happened to Luke.
I have serious FOMO, so I was at the party. I'm the one calling people like, I thought there was going to be a lot of people here. But really, I'd say, can you be successful in rural markets with just 5,000 population in a 5-mile radius? Absolutely.
Yep.
But if there's already a good store there serving that community, it's probably just a one-store town. So adding another store really wouldn't make sense because there might not be enough market. However, if you're in a big city and there's 50, 100, 200, 1 million people, then there's more market there for laundry needs because there's more people. Because this is one of the things when you buy a laundromat or build out or take over a lease and do the free laundromat thing, or however you become the steward owner of a laundromat, remember it's still about serving people. And these are people with laundry, whether it be their bed linens, any type of laundry. And what we're teaching and talking about is facilitating that laundry. And that is the self-service laundry business.
And reducing the amount of work that it takes for that person to accomplish whatever their objective is. So if it's bringing in laundry dirty and trying to leave with it clean, you want that to be as easy of a process for that customer.
Yep. And if this industry for a long time has been like an insurance salesman or a car salesman or a banker, has a laundromat on the side and kind of throws the cash in their pocket or whatever. And then at the end of 20 years, when that equipment is no longer functioning properly and running efficiently, and they need to replace it, they go to these Eastern Fundings, the bank, Dexter Finance, and they can't get any finances because on their books they've shown no profit. And that's a lot of times when they look to liquidate. So you who are looking to buy, that's the scenario and situation of, I would say, 90% of the stores we see out there for sale. So it's either one of a couple things. If it's brand spanking new and just open, that's most likely a distributor built it. It's really nice, but it's not proven itself quite yet, and they're going to want high dollar because they spent the time and energy to build it out. The new equipment's already on site. Everything's perfect. You don't have to worry about coming and adding value to this business. It's already been done. You can just put your name on it, your logo. However, that's going to be more expensive. And then the other is someone who's ran it for a long time. Equipment may be getting old, and they're just looking to, instead of reinvest, to liquidate and get out of the business. So those are the two most common I hear about. And then,
so when do you buy your second store?
After you've proven that you understand the business and been successful. I mean, and success is profitability.
That's it. How you define success is so important.
Because I run up with so many people and even sellers of laundromats, and hey, it's doing, let's say, $10,000 a month. Well, the expenses are $10,000 a month. They're, not making any profit.
Certainly not on the books.
Yeah, and a lot of times, you don't lie to yourself on the front end. I say that when hiring, don't lie to yourself. I say that when talking to people about dating, don't lie to yourself.
Deal with reality.
Yeah, work in reality. But when buying, and you go to, say you buy a zombie mat, an older store that needs new equipment, what type of investment am I going to have to put in? Say it's a 3,000 square foot space, Lee. Just help the listener understand, okay, maybe I should buy a laundromat. What type of investment to get it to the wash house standard, or to
standard of excellence that their customers certainly deserve. So 3,000 square foot store is great, and you want to make sure that your price per square foot, your investment cost per square foot is somewhere about $150,000, so that you do not have, especially if you've leased it, so that you do not have too much money tied up into one location. $150.
Yeah, you said $150,000.
Oh yeah, $150 per square
mark
foot.
That. I got the correcting. That would be a very expensive laundromat. Lee would never do that store.
No,
but $150 a square foot, and a lot of people build them out for that, Lee. That's a conservative number for us because we've done so many. We GC the projects, and but some people are paying, say, $250.
And that first one, the first store. You're going to have some stupid tax that you pay, and you just have to build that into the cost of it. But yes, you want to make sure that you are not over equipping, because that will tie up a lot of your capital on the front end. You can come in and add equipment later. So I would suggest, maybe equipping 70% of what you need, and making sure that if that does 4 turns per day, that you're netting what you want, because the goal is to get about 4 turns per day with the equipment that you put in, based on your revenue of 4 turns per day, and do not over equip on the front end, because that ties up a lot of capital, and those machines will not get used initially.
And after you buy, you just collect money, right?
That's right. Yep. You just show up, and it just falls from the ceiling.
I think that's kind of what persona, I guess, or the industry's put off. There's a ton of TikToks and YouTube channels with just money raining down.
That's because that sells TikTok and YouTube videos.
and it may be why some of our listeners are listening to us today.
We're here for practical advice.
We want to bring the reality,
prudence
of the laundromat industry.
Yes. Our desire is to elevate this industry beyond what it has been traditionally. And I think there are a lot of people out there doing the exact same thing. Yeah. So we love this industry. We're part of it. We hope that you will join us in the industry if it's the right decision for you. Let us know where you are. If you have any questions, we'll try to respond as quickly as possible.
And we hope we've answered your question. Most importantly, if you're not willing to invest time, resources into this business and really, take it serious, don't get into this business. Because we're wanting to elevate. We've done it here locally, but we want to help you do that across the country and hear those stories. So we hope this episode helped you understand, should you buy a laundromat?
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, do all those things. Share this with a friend who may be interested in the business. We get tons of calls and text and messages about a laundromat for sale, someone wanting to buy it across the country. Point them to this episode and pray about it.
Yeah.
Think hard about
it's important for us.
Live in reality. And
take a risk.
And you got to take risks. At the end of the day, you got to get out of the house. And as you're looking to buy a laundromat, go in 100 laundromats. I mean, go into stores.
Yes.
If they ask why you're there, just tell them you're checking it out or get to know somebody. Like Lee said, I've gotten to know hundreds of different people, and it's not to buy their laundromat always, is to get to know them, because we found that knowing your competitors is much more advantageous, because like the call we got recently, having their number helps, because you can both help each other out. I mean, I've installed several change machines as we've converted to our Freedom by IPS system to owners that are in our market. Why would I do that? Just because it's the right thing, and it builds, camaraderie and morale. So. Anyway, we hope this helps. Like, follow, subscribe to Williford Brothers. Thanks for tuning in. Take care, and see you on the next episode. Yee!